And we're live. And we're actually recording.
Whoa, I can't believe it.
I remember 2 steps. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. It's another week here in Montreal. It's a rainy, dark morning, actually. I could have stayed in bed. This is one of those mornings. And I think I could have stayed in bed until later. Anyway, how are you doing, Sue?
I am doing great. How are you?
I'm really good. I'm good, thanks. Now that I'm up and about, and I've actually been out for a bit of a walk with the dog, but it's like the winds are crazy out there this morning.
Yeah, I was here because our bedroom's up on the third floor, so we're right under the roof.
Mm,
And I'm like, is that the wind howling this morning? What the heck? It's been
yeah,
so calm and sunny and warm and everything. And then the last,
I know. Kind of like our lives sometimes, right?
Mhm.
Our lives go like that, the calm before the storm. And
Oh my
sometimes,
God.
right? And sometimes
Speaking
with things
about the calm before the storm and now calm. How did you so you finished off your cleanse this weekend. So
did,
what were some of your takeaways? I'm
yeah.
curious to hear.
Yeah, so the second round, because I did it almost like both within a month. The second time was really, I found it a lot more difficult. I had a few more cravings. I had that little girl voice in my head going, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Having a tantrum. And I'm like, shut up. Yes, you're gonna do it. Yeah, I found it harder, and I'm not sure exactly why. Maybe it's because, like I say, I did it kind of together a little too soon. But Anthony William, I'm just going to show this book to everybody if anybody's interested. He came up with the second book, which is Cleanse to Heal, and it has a lot of the first book, which was the liver rescue, in it. But he provided a simplified version of the plan, of the 9-day plan, and it's not as intense as the original. But he also provides even an advanced one for people with a lot of health issues. If you want to get rid of them really, faster or sooner, you want to fast track your health. But I didn't have a lot of major issues. I just wanted to kind of clean myself up and feel better. So midway, kind of switched out and went the simplified route, which is a bit of a cheater, but it allowed a little bit more flexibility on the food instead of in the last few days. It was pretty much all Brussels sprouts and asparagus. So I don't think you do so good, Susan.
Hello.
My
Oh,
husband was looking at me too. I'm not doing what you're doing.
yeah, I think I'll go hang out with Dave. No, actually, you know what? You bring up a really important point, and I think this is something we can carry forward with us for the week because the thought of the week it just dawned on me as you were
Good.
talking.
I like it.
It just dawned on me. I have no idea what's going to dawn on me from a
Yeah.
conversation, but
So it's good about
um,
these calls. They're just impromptu.
yeah. But you know what? I think I think this is a classic case of force versus flow, right? And the first time you did the cleanse, you were in flow. You really
Yeah.
were because you needed it. You know you needed it. You needed that kickstart. But the second time, if we really think about it, did you really go to flow or you just forced that
Yeah.
second one to happen, right?
Great point. It was definitely forced. I didn't really want to do it going into it.
Yeah.
And so it goes back to actually last week when we were talking about getting clarity. You said it always comes down to two questions. What do you want?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't really want it first time I did. So when you get honest with yourself, it's true. I would have deferred it, but I thought, okay, let's just keep the momentum going. I kind of have the momentum, like let's just keep it rolling. But yeah, I found it more forced, and so it was not. Yeah, it wasn't resonating with me the same way the first round did, for sure.
Isn't it crazy? It's such
Yeah,
a simple thing, and it's that to listen to us, to ourselves and our
yeah,
body. You probably don't need anything right now except just enjoy what you the
yeah,
first part, and we forget to just relish and enjoy in what we did in that first part. Like
yeah,
you should have rewarded yourself for the next 3 months. It's like, oh
yeah,
my God, because really, it's the first time you've really gone through a cleanse with such gusto and having such great results.
yeah, yeah. I did. Yeah, 14 pounds down. They're still off. Yeah,
Gee,
I feel more energy. I feel really so much better. But you're right, and that I'm so guilty of, Sue, that I do not take that time to pause and do that, congratulations, pat on the back type of thing. I don't. I move on to the next, and I know, I'm not the only one, right?
oh,
I
I
mean, we're all so guilty of doing that.
Well, that's why you and I are here together, honey, because we just tap each other on the back. And if
Yeah.
we just use this week to celebrate one thing that we've done
Yeah.
recently,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
just
That's
not
a great
focus on
idea.
adding anything else to it. We're all guilty. And as women, particularly,
Mhm.
it seems like we just can't stop. And when we do stop, we feel useless. But this it's funny because I was I was rereading that post, I mean the interview that I did about total health, about me and spirituality. And
Where's that
I,
one posted?
I haven't posted it yet.
Come on, we all want to see it. Susan and health
Susan, yeah, Susan and spirituality.
and
Oh my
spirituality.
Lord.
Do.
But no, but you know what? I think the one thing we all struggle with is just celebrating something we did, just one, and just keep celebrating for a few days, not just for that moment.
Yeah, I love that. I wrote it down because I'm going to put that in our post, and we'll remind everybody every day, celebrate something this week. And yeah, celebrate it a few times. And there's so many different ways to celebrate. Like we don't have to jump to something that's going to cost a lot of money or right away. Like our old paradigms were that maybe we would go out for dinner or, but we can't do that anymore under COVID, right? So we've had to this past year reinvent ourselves anyway. So it's like what do you really want? Simple like way that doesn't cost money, doesn't involve going out. So maybe it's going down to the lake and just actually having an hour to yourself to sit and enjoy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's a key point. And while we're on this theme, actually, I had a thought this morning too. So here I am in the kitchen, and I was making my smoothie. This I'm still doing: blueberries, dragon fruit, and a
Good for
banana.
you. That looks
Yeah,
good, actually.
it's really yummy, and you can put coriander in it if you want, which is a good a metal detox for your
Oh, yeah.
body.
Okay.
And yeah, it is really yummy. So I'm
Hey,
in the
everybody,
kitchen,
have a naturopath as a friend. It always helps.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm in the kitchen and I'm making that, and the dog is crying. She's already been out the back for a quick pee, but she wants to go out the front for a walk. And I'm looking at the time, going, okay, do I have time? I really love my walks in the morning, but I like it when I'm not under the clock, right? But I wanted to, I still had to get kind of dressed and pulled together. So I'm like, okay, do I have time to go for a walk? So here again is the force versus flow. I'm feeling kind of like she's forcing me out. I'm feeling almost a little not resentful because I want to go, but I don't want to go. So I've got this push pull thing going on. And finally, and I'm looking at it and I think, oh my God, it's so windy. I'm going to come back looking like my hair, like, and how much time do I have? And if she really wants to go for a long walk, then I'm going to have to pull her back. And all of this is going through my head, right? Finally, I said, okay, screw it. Just at least get out the door for 5 minutes and maybe she'll go along with me. And I'm kind of mentally saying to her, okay, 5 minute walk, 5 minute walk. So we did get out and I had to bundle up because it is cold out. Excuse me. And sure enough, we only got out for a few minutes. We went down the path and she actually stopped. She kind of looked around and she's like, okay, was like, that's it, Mom. Okay, I'm ready to go home now. I was like, yay. But I love that topic. So let's stay on that, the force versus flow and how women, we
Yeah.
do more for others and put ourselves second many times and then feel maybe resentful or we just feel maybe not resentful, but we've given it all away and now at the end of the day we got nothing left for us.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Yeah.
it's huge. And so by the time we hit 50, we're so masterful in doing that
Mm-hmm.
that we have to be compassionate on the journey to flip that program, right? It takes time to change it. So by being in a group that is supportive on celebrating,
Mm.
the next step is we have to learn how to celebrate, right? It's like, because I hear all these people out there on social media celebrating. I could feel the empty celebration. Like it's almost like words,
Yeah.
like, let's celebrate
Yeah.
me. But why? Like, can we
Yeah.
just look at what is it that you're celebrating? Like, if I'm saying, I want to celebrate me today, it's like, what did I do? Hold on, let me think. What am I celebrating? I hate empty chatter. I really
Right.
do. Right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's like, okay, I'm celebrating, but I don't feel like there's anything to celebrate because I didn't do anything. So it's like, do something, reward yourself with the celebration, but don't reward without doing anything. It's you're teaching yourself to do something that's meaningless.
Yeah. So that is the other side of the coin. That's a good point. So sometimes we're doing so much, we forget to celebrate. And then it's like we're told to celebrate. So then we want to celebrate, but maybe we didn't really do anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Key point. Key
And you
point.
know, Sherry, you're so good at celebrating others. And I think that's the beautiful thing about this group you're creating, because your energy is behind it, right? I'm just a token Susan sitting here partying with everybody, even though I should be like right in there because I am 52. Um, but
You're an integral part of this. Come on.
no, but you know, your energy is behind this group, and you're all about celebrating all the time. And so there's nothing wrong with learning how to celebrate ourselves, but I love what I call the circle of love, where why don't we just focus on celebrating each other and helping each other find that muscle
Yeah.
to look for how to celebrate ourselves. So we always constantly remind each other, hold on, okay, so you're celebrating yourself today, so what did you do recently? And it's not to judge or hurt you, but it's getting you to see something that is, number one, meaningful, number two, being mindful, right?
Yeah. I love that. And that reminded me of a very good friend of mine, one of my besties in life. We've known each other since we're 12. And so that's a few years. And I'll ask her, sometimes we'll talk at the end of the day, or even around 4 o'clock, and she'll say, I had a lazy day today. And I'm like, really? And I'm thinking to myself, okay, what did you actually do today? I said, what did you do? Well, I got up at 7 and I changed the beds and I did all my laundry and I ironed all my clothes for the week and I went to the store and I did my groceries and I made a soup and I made a stew and I made a lasagna and I made da 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 da. And I cleaned the house, I cleaned the bathroom, so I walked the dog, and I'm like, and that's a lazy day. Like, what the hell would you do on a busy day?
God.
So, right. So it's like she didn't see it. Now, as I've been calling her out on it, she's like, okay, Sherry, I had another one of my lazy days.
It's
So,
crazy how language
yeah.
is so telling in what we believe in ourselves, right?
Mm, mm. And that goes along the lines with mind mastery, right? The language that we tell ourselves. And that's like this old paradigm things and subconscious things. If we think of ourselves as lazy, then anything under, everything's subpar. If you're not swinging from the mountaintops daily, then you're lazy, right? Yeah.
Well, because when we say we're lazy and we're really not, right? Um, it's always based on how we've compared ourselves with what
Mm,
others have done, right?
mm,
If you didn't have it like that scope of the rest of the world to compare, does
right.
it feel lazy really? Like, it goes back to, okay, well, hold on. What's lazy?
Yeah.
Lazy to me is sitting there, watching TV all day long, eating chips, drinking beer, and actually struggling because you can't pay your bills. That's lazy.
That's lazy. Yeah. Yeah. On a day though where you can pay your bills and you've worked hard all week and you take that Saturday afternoon to sit on the couch with your beer and your chips, that's time out.
Yeah.
That's a reward.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's only lazy if your wife is doing all the work.
Or a husband.
Yeah, or whatever, right? I think
Yeah.
if it's everything is relative, and I think that we really have to be mindful,
Yeah.
right? That's what mindful is all about. I was thinking about that this morning, like, because I'm more focused on mindful than being meditating, like just quiet. Like,
Right.
be mindful, because our behavior is tied to our mind and our thoughts, right? So be mindful of what we are doing and the ripple effect it's causing on our own life, never mind everybody else's. So it's the same thing as when somebody says, oh, when I say, so how's it going? Oh, it's good, everything's
Mm.
good. And I'm like, can you just describe that, please? Because
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know what good is. Like, what's so good? And they're like, no, nothing. So why do you think it's good? And then you're still not happy. Like,
That's true. That is such an answer, right? Yeah. Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah. Really? Yeah. Are you? Yeah. And then when you dig down, sometimes it's like, no, I'm not.
you know what is a great conversation piece when people, I find is really good in terms of connecting, is when you meet somebody, go into this habit of when somebody asks you, so how's everything? Oh, everything's great. I mean, I just finished this and I just did this. So I just feel great. Like at least you're qualifying something, right? And that
Yeah.
gives the other person the opportunity to ask you questions. But if we're just saying good, it's like, okay, well, then it's a closed deal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That is a good point. So that's something too we could practice this week is opening up the conversation a little bit more. Yeah, because it's true. It's like it's good, it's fine, whatever. Whether okay, okay, bye, good seeing you. You know? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Unless you don't want to connect. I'm not saying everybody wants to connect, but I'm sorry, everybody wants to connect. Everybody wants to connect on the most meaningful level, right?
yeah, 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 for sure. So tell me, what did you do this weekend? What stood out for you?
Oh, I did. It's funny.
Were you lazy?
Jeez, I wish I could just be a little bit more lazy. My husband's like, can you just stop? Can you
Yeah,
just stop
yeah.
working? I'm like,
You're an
this is
ever ready
not
bunny.
work. I'm
Yeah.
not, it's not like to me, productivity is organizing. Like, so this weekend I started on a lot of my tax stuff because it's like we do our own taxes and it's a really complicated process, but because it's all numbers, right? Which I'm
Mm.
addicted. I love numbers. Must be the Chinese part of me.
Do 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 do.
I've always refused to say, God, you must be good at school. No, not really, but I'm damn good at number. I can't get away from that. But
Love numbers. Me too.
yeah, and then I went into Kevin's office because it's, oh my God, I tell you, papers. He has a habit of taking notes on little pieces of paper.
Me too. They're
Right?
everywhere. I've got
Yes,
stacks of them.
yes. And they're not even same size paper. Sometimes he'll go to recycling to pick up a piece of paper to write a little note because God forbid we waste paper,
Me
right?
too. I rip them up and I have little pieces. Oh my God. Him and I are scorpion rats. And yeah,
You
that's
guys
that's
are
what we
scorpion
do.
rats.
Yeah.
So what I do is I'm preparing for his time to go into the taxes because he actually does the taxes. I do all the preparation like a bookkeeper or secretary. So I cleaned up his office. Like I just organized his papers and now it's like completely organized. But like I love that. I love to me organizing is when my brain shuts down.
So
I'm not
that's
having
your
to think about
meditation.
social media. I'm not having to think about somebody else and how to help them. I'm not thinking about anything except get these papers organized because this mess is driving me crazy. Like,
So
how do you find anything? Because I'm all about feng shui. Like to me, organization, cleanliness, neatness, I'm like OCD on. Like,
are you?
because of feng shui, it's like that feeling of clarity. Your
It's true. Our
environment.
outer same as inner. You're right.
Yeah.
And my outer, my desk is often quite a mess, and it would drive my husband crazy. We're very opposite in that regard. He's very organized, and I go behind him, leaving all my messes, and then he goes behind me, cleaning all my messes.
That's the thing. I do that with Kevin as well. Sandy Day is here. Hi,
Hey,
Sandy.
Sandy.
Yeah, Cynthia Hunt's here. Um, Good morning, everybody. So yeah, so I mean, to me, feng shui, you have to really understand. If you want clarity in your mind, you need to really make sure your environment is clear and organized. It's not, I don't like empty desks because I like pictures everywhere, but they have to be neat.
Neat. Well, funny that you're saying that because recently I watched a little clip about feng shui. 'Cause I love it too. There's a lot to the science of it and the energy of it. And they talk about putting a plant on the left-hand side of your desk. And I recently put one there. I thought, okay, I'll clean up that corner at least if I have a pile of crap beside me. But I've got my plant there, so maybe that's going to bring in the abundance of health and yeah. So it's bringing it all in.
Well,
So that's
yeah, because we don't listen to how we feel
yeah.
because we think over the feeling. So when I clear my closet, when I start organizing, I feel better. Like, so, you're all about helping people feel their way through things,
Yeah.
right? And recognize their body. So it's
Right.
huge.
It is huge. It is huge. I like that you brought that up because it is really it's connecting the mind with the feeling. And when we sit with ourselves, this is I mentioned it last week too that when I took myself up north beginning of February and spent 4 days alone, I asked my body, "What do you need?" And I actually was in the space of quiet where I could listen to my body answer. And because we always have the answer within, but we're too busy thinking. We're back in our minds and we're thinking of what the answer might be instead of just being quiet and listening. And when our outer, like I'm looking around at my mess, and it was supposed to be on my hit list all weekend to clean up the office, but I didn't get to it. Got to the art room a little bit, but yeah, yeah, I think it's that's going to be my numero uno this week is get in the office and do a little cleanup. Yeah,
Oh, it goes a long way. It really does. I think we underscore the importance of organizing. I don't do it every day, but but I do organize every day because I don't let it get to the point where it's out of
it's too
control.
much. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't. I mean,
yeah,
because then you have to live in that out of control for all that time. So,
yeah, yeah.
like, I'm the
Exactly.
type of person that as I cook, I clean. Whereas
Okay, that's Dave. Yeah.
Yeah, whereas Kevin, I swear it drives me nuts. I'm like walking after him. He's like, "Hey, yeah, just let me do my thing." I was like, "No, it's driving me crazy."
Yeah, me too. Love. Yeah, it's wild in the kitchen. It's a total mess. And then I clean once. It's one swoop at the end.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
he does a beautiful job cleaning, but I
yeah.
have to leave the room because I can't watch this process. I just can't.
That's Dave too. He'll try and come behind me. And sometimes he's actually cleaned up behind me when I'm not even done with it. One time I took like this all this time to chop a pepper or something, and he thought it was garbage and he threw it out. And I turned around to get it, and it's like, where'd my pepper go? And he said, "Oh, I thought it was for the compost bucket." I'm like, "Oh my God, get out of my kitchen! Just get out!"
At the Kevin all the time. He's like, "Where's the pot? I was gonna use it for this." I'm like, "Oh, I washed it
Whoop,
already."
I'm washed, put away. Yeah, I appreciate
But
the
you know
help.
what? Think about this though. It's all character, right? It's all personality.
Mhm.
So I'm like OCD on clarity, right? So which means I keep everything simple, right? So I'm also very like efficient, like crazy. So I
Yeah.
have to make sure that everything is efficient because of keeping everything simple. So if you're the type of person that tends to complicate things,
Uh-huh.
right? With
Mhm.
all these thoughts and ideas and everything, then that's how we operate. So
Mhm.
can you imagine if we start switching? Because it's always better to be keeping things simple, right?
I would think so, for sure. That's a good way to
Yes.
live.
Yeah. And so, but a lot of times we have to learn what that feeling of simplicity feels like, right?
Mm.
Because we get used to sort of chaos.
Mhm.
So yeah, so and it's funny because I don't do that in other areas of my life, but I do that on. It's really strange how our mind works, but it's how you feel. So Sandy said, when I get disorganized, I feel so messed up. It's true. Like some of us do, some of us don't, right?
Yeah.
But in the end of the day, it's all tied to what is it that we want to achieve,
Yeah.
right? It has
Yeah.
nothing to do with because you could be totally like Kevin is hyper productive. He has his way of being productive, not in the way I do it. But yeah, but and you know what? It's funny. Cynthia says sometimes chaos is creativity. And you know what the creativity
Mhm.
around that is? Chaos. Have you ever heard that concept? So, chaos is creative. Is creative.
Chaos. Yeah, I actually haven't. No, this is
Well,
interesting.
if you think about it, chaos, to get out of chaos, you have to be resourceful.
Right.
Resourcefulness creates creativity, right?
Right. Right. You have to get creative with your solutions of how you're going to get out of it. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
However, the downfall about chaos is creativity is we get into the habit of creating chaos to be creative.
Yes. Oh, I
Right.
love this. This is getting to the core of our minds, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so what if there is no chaos that we create? There's enough chaos in the world for us to deal with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we're
Yeah.
married, we have the chaos of somebody else. If we have
Mhm.
kids, we have their chaos.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I know.
already a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
So think about chaos as creativity is totally true because I love it when I get resourceful and get out of a situation. But when I start looking at which situations I've caused that chaos, it
Mhm.
starts becoming not fun, right?
Mhm.
It's like, oh my
I
God, did I just create that? No,
yeah.
think about it, right? What do you think?
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah. So the more we think about it and the more we get hooked on liking it, it really becomes this vicious circle because we're going to constantly create it so that we can get ourselves out of it and create new solutions. So then we create more and yeah. And that's a hard one. Like, so for someone to see that in themselves, they've got to really be able to step back and detach. from what's going on and really get deep and honest with themselves and say, okay, so who's really creating this crap? Like who's really the ringmaster, right? Or the puppet master, right?
Yeah.
So
To me, chaos is, there's good chaos, there's bad chaos, but creativity is to create new.
right.
Creativity is not to be resourceful to get out of mess, right?
Mm,
There's, you know, there's a good creative, and then there's the other survival creative, right? So,
mm,
but as long as we recognize, because one is not better than the other, except it only becomes negative when we don't recognize or we're not aware of what's going on,
right,
right?
right, right. So that's another good one for this week. So we have a theme for the week. It's about getting celebrating one thing this week. I love that. So really look for something that you're going to celebrate about your life. Go to the flow versus force. So we
Mm,
talked about me forcing my second round of doing the cleanse, and it was forced, and I was not enjoying it. It was like, no, I don't want to do this. So I'm done. Day 9 was yesterday. It's behind me for now. I'll do it again in the fall. I think it's a great idea. But this last thing, I like this mindfulness about looking at where in our lives we have chaos. And so it's a good time, it's spring cleaning. It's a great time to clean out closets and drawers, and clean out rooms. It's a great time to, and there's so many great organizations now to give our stuff away to. There's the Renaissance, and there's like all kinds of places that take our stuff now. So get rid of it, or sell it on garage sale or marketplace, or make a little money that maybe one day we'll travel again. That could go into your travel fund,
yes.
right? Mindfulness for chaos.
Yeah.
Okay, I love it.
I think
Okay.
I think it's funny because the only time I celebrate is when I set a little mini goal to do something. And goals don't have to be massive. They could be like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to clean, I'm going to organize this weekend, or I'm going to, it could be, oh, I'm going to cook a meal today, or I'm going to go take a walk around the block, right? Whatever it is that you set that little milestone and you hit it, celebrate, so
Celebrate.
that we get used to that muscle of celebration. And Sandy here is that I have to simplify to have clarity. When I'm in the weeds, my decisions aren't the best. I tend to
Mm,
have all or nothing thinking when things are complicated. Yeah, you know,
that is,
and
I think a lot
yeah,
of people can resonate with that. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Thanks,
that's
Sandy.
more, yeah, that's more me. I'm like that too. I'm on all or nothing, but I have to keep things simple because otherwise we don't know what decision making is probably one of the most difficult things women have to like to learn, right? Decision
Yeah.
making, because our
Yeah.
decisions are usually dictated by everybody else around,
Everybody else. I agree. Yeah. That
right?
is our worst enemy right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we hit 50, the first thing we have to focus on is, what do I want? What do I want? What do I want? What do I want? And then you set those little milestones to hit towards, well, I don't know what I want. So let's not focus too much on, but I don't know what I want. Let's go and discover, right? And that's what
Right.
we're doing here.
Yeah.
So we just discovered that you forced something that you did not want, and maybe you didn't want it because you didn't need it, your body didn't need it, right?
Yeah.
So then we ask
Yeah.
ourselves, why did I do it? Why did I think I wanted it? Like what
Yeah.
the heck was I trying to do here, right?
Yeah.
And we really start hearing ourselves, and I think that's really, for this week, I want to hammer in talking about celebrating. So on Wednesday morning we're going to celebrate something.
Yay. So everybody, yeah, if you're listening to this, do something today and tomorrow, or even just, build off of what maybe you did on the weekend, and get out there and celebrate. Do something to celebrate yourself.
Yeah. And also what I do is I let go of that to-do list, because that to-do list, a lot of it we're procrastinating, but eliminate half of it by the stuff that you don't even want to do. So why is it on that to-do list? Is it because somebody else, you know what I mean? Because that to-do list that you have in your mind that you keep procrastinating, is we're carrying that weight
We
around,
are. We are.
that burden of not doing something, or we're just not productive again. But half of the to-do list is probably something you didn't want to do anyways. If you're procrastinating, you have to question, do you want it or not?
But what if you don't want to do it, but you have to? It's one of
Like,
those have tos, like doing taxes, or don't want to do it, but so where do you delegate it to if you're
Oh,
taking
you
it off
don't
your list?
delegate. You just those are the things you have to
Yeah.
force yourself to.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
that's it. So, yeah, because you were saying if you don't want to do it, just take it off. But there's a fine line there because there is some things. So for those things, I know for myself, it's called what, eating the frog, I think was the expression that I forget who had said that, but his thing was in the morning, just eat the frog, do the thing that you hate the most but is important. So you whittle down your to-do list to your top 5. Like you don't have 20 things on there. They could be there, whatever, there them back. But what are the top 5 things that absolutely have to be done today? Maybe there's a phone call you have to make. You have to make an appointment. You have to, I don't know, at least start gathering your papers for your taxes, something. And so eat the bloody frog. Just do it. Just get it over with. First thing in the morning, just do it. Right? Because I think it's the mental that we all day long. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Yes, you do. No, you don't. Yes, you do. It's like, oh, shut up and just freaking do it. Yeah. So
Yeah,
maybe that's the way to attack it.
absolutely. That's the productivity model,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I think the more we get productive, the more we'll feel better about ourselves. And what is productivity? That's according to who you are. So Cynthia said you have to start with simple goals so you don't beat yourself up if it doesn't get accomplished. Yeah,
Yeah.
simple things, because we have to train ourselves to be happy with ourselves, right? This is the
Yes.
crazy thing about women,
Yes.
right? And so yeah, so
Yes.
that's all.
Thanks, Cynthia. Good point. And hi. Yeah, that is a good. So today, tomorrow, simple things, folks. Simple things. Do a few things that are on your list. Give yourself that pat on the back. Get out there and celebrate. Maybe by a walk or go down to the lake. Or today's not so nice, but there's lots we can do. Even reading a good book. All right. Well, we're at the 8:31 mark. Sue, this was great. Great having coffee, and I have a smoothie here. Smoothie over clarity over coffee.
That's the clarity. That's
Yeah.
milestone.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks everybody for listening. Thanks, Sherry.
Have a great week, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.